are you? Yeah, thank you.
Hello. Oh, there we go. My first experience with Sisters was 2 years ago at MLK Day March. And after that I started volunteering in the cafe. And I feel really lucky every time I get to go into Sisters. Just the experience of being around the people, the staff and the volunteers and the people that come in there is really an amazing blessing, and definitely I get more back from being there than the little bit I give. I'm going to sing you a song that came out of looking back at some of the unexpected twists and turns that life can take. And sometimes they don't seem to make a lot of sense looking back. But one thing we can all say for sure about whatever roads we've been down is that somehow they brought us here. And from here, the way gets easier if we all look out for one another. This song's called Long Way Round. All the roads we traveled down, all the places that we were bound. It's funny, all of them led here. Some would say, I guess it's true, we took a long way round and wasted time paying mind to fear. Now I know that you were always near, shed a tear every time you watched me fall. Though the way ahead never did get clear. Guess we made it after all. Chasing dreams and foolish schemes, not knowing what to find, not even knowing what we were searching for. The only road that's yours is one your footsteps leave behind. And who's to say what you made it for? Now I know that you were always near, shed a tear every time you watched me fall. Though the way ahead never did get clear. Yes, we made it after all. Worn out boots, scars and truths picked up along the way. The light and the dark we left behind. Things we did and can't undo, words we cannot say. May they teach us to be kind. Now I know that you were always near, and shed a tear every time you watched me fall. Though the way ahead never did get clear. Yes, we made it after all.
Folks, you want to stay on the other side of the line so the motorcycle can come through?
Okay, folks, we shall someday. All right, give yourselves a hand. Come on, make some noise, people. I got joy, just like a river. I got joy like a river in my soul. Y'all say I got joy. All right. I got joy, just like a river. I got joy. Hey, come on. If I had a hammer, you remember that one, right?
Doing good.
I hammer in the evening, all over this land. I hammer out danger, I hammer out warning, I hammer out love between the brothers and the sisters all over this land. If I had a bell, I'd ring it in the morning, I'd ring it in the evening, all over this land. I'd ring out danger, I'd ring out warning, I'd ring out love between the brothers and the sisters all over this land. If I had a song, I'd sing it in the morning, I'd sing it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sing out danger, I'd sing out warning, I'd sing out love between the brothers and the sisters all over this land. Well, I've got a hammer, and I've got a bell, I've got a song to sing all over this land.
Intersection.
Get
White line. That walk through the middle of town.
Human rights. Human rights. Human rights. Human rights. Human rights. Civil rights. Civil rights. Human rights. Human rights. Civil rights. Civil rights. Human rights. Human rights. Civil rights. Civil rights. Human rights.
Perfect.
Go Slaw! Thanks, Ben.
And then after that, we drove on.
We're turning up here on Main. Right here.
That was a big hand for singing. Come on now. I see the walls over here are still standing. Could you see them?
Ain't no power to stop peace.
somewhere. I can.
Gonna study war no more. Study war no more.
They're like kind of like Unitarian. You know, they're non-secular. Church.
Gonna study war no more. Study war.
You knew I was wearing
Numerous words of wisdom and calls of action in Dr. King's book with the current campaign of Sisters of the Road Civic Action Group, also referred to as KEG. KEG's current work focuses on empowerment and is working towards recognition of people dealing with poverty and homelessness, power, and consequent responsibility to organize for more power and a strengthened voice that is shared within their community and all communities. As Dr. King said, and is still true today, whatever affects one affects all indirectly. First, I would like to invite up to the microphone Reverend Shively.
Let us unite in the spirit of prayer and meditation. Eternal God, in whom we live and move and have our being. God, who asks that we do unto others as we would have them do unto us, and that we do nothing to others that we would not have done to us. God, who is the still, small voice of conscience. You who teach that without a vision, the people perish. Source of compassion. You who say the victims of fate are not to be the victims of our neglect. God who sees all children equally to be blessed. God who sends prophets to warn against the terrible price of injustice. God who places us at this moment in history to do justice and to love mercy and to walk humbly with you. Thou, Spirit, warm us with your breath. Be in us and amongst us as we celebrate the values articulated and lived by Brother King. Teach us continuously that though these may not be the best of times, they are our times, and we shall make the best of them. Once again, take our minds and think through them. Once again, take our hearts and set them on fire. All you who share these sentiments and feel blessed, join together in saying Amen. Amen.
My name is Julio Vasquez Sr., and I'm a member of CAT, the Civic Action Group of Sisters of the Road. I became involved with Sisters about a year ago. I believe in Sisters' philosophies of nonviolence and gentle personalism. We believe Dr. Martin Luther King's way of loving and treating people with dignity and respect. Loving another and even our perceived enemies. We as sisters have a saying, there are no strangers, just friends we haven't met yet. We work on building personal and stable relationships with which help people make changes in their own lives. We help empower them to do what they can do for themselves. Due to my addictions and mental illness, I became homeless in 1994. I was once again homeless in 2006. I came to Portland in 2006. I came here to get clean and sober. My doctor had told me if I kept on going, I was going to die. I am now in recovery and have 15 months in recovery. Many people have helped me to become the person I am now. Therefore, I am giving back. CAG uses a quote from Margaret Mead, "Never doubt what a small group of thoughtful citizens can change the world. Indeed, this is the only thing that it ever has." And as Dr. Martin Luther King said, social change does not come overnight, but yet it is imminent possibility. And he also stated, love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. I feel, in the long run, we'll become stronger, and we will triumph over injustices. We must keep on the march. Thank you very much for coming here today to help us honor a great man, Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
Hello. Before I can talk about why I participate in the Civic Action Group, or CAG for short, I feel that I need to give some background information about myself and how I was empowered by people who had the strength to love me, and how that love saved my life and made me who I am today. I grew up in a dysfunctional family in the 50s. My parents divorced when I was 7 and I stayed with my father. At 12 I dropped out of school and ran away. All my life I was searching for something, but I didn't know what. I tried to fit into society, but finally gave in to drugs. Using drugs, I didn't have to feel the pain that I was constantly in. I was homeless many times in my life, the longest time for 3 years. I did many things that I'm not proud of, and I went to jail many times because of my drug use. The last time I had an experience that changed my life forever. To make a long story short, I became a Christian while in jail. I was given a Bible, and since I had lots of time on my hands, I began to read it. The main focus of the book was love, unconditional love, and how we need to share this love with others. It was during this time that I realized what it was that I'd been searching for all my life. I just wanted to be loved. It was this love that made my life turn around. After I got out of jail for the last time, I was so fortunate to be placed with people who had the strength to love me unconditionally and could teach me how to share this love. This is where Sisters of the Road and the Civic Action Group come in. Sisters' philosophy of nonviolence and gentle personalism is love in action. So why do I participate in CAG? Because I feel that I have something important to say in the discussions of homelessness and poverty. I've experienced both. I believe every experience that I've lived through has happened for a reason, or as Eleanor Roosevelt so perfectly put it, you gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You are able to say to yourself, I have lived through this horror. I can take the next thing that comes along. You must do the thing that you think you cannot do. These words motivated me to take the next step. I am a part of the Civic Action Group also because I believe we should be the change we wish to see in the world. I feel the need to make a difference, and I believe that nothing will change unless I contribute to making that change happen. CAG is made up of homeless and formerly homeless individuals. As people who are homeless or have been in the past, we've been told that we're not capable and told we need to do this and do that and jump through this hoop just to get a meal or a place to stay for the night. But at CAG, we can think on our own, and we're not told what to do. This is important because we have a space where we don't have to worry about someone thinking we're incapable, and where we can empower and encourage each other to try new things and to get involved. And we can believe in ourselves. I'd like to highlight just a few of the things we've been working on. One thing that CAG's been working on is registering people to vote and getting people involved in the voting process, which I believe is very important. We can change the system if we all get involved and take part in the process and hold officials accountable for their actions. We have a goal of registering 300 people, and so far we've registered 190. The Civic Action Group is working through the Safe Oversight Committee, working committee convinced the city to open a restroom 24 hours a day. We need to go to the people affected by policies or legislation and ask how they feel about it so they feel listened to. So we worked with the city's BHCD to form focus groups, allowing our community a voice in the decisions affecting them. CAG continues to educate the community on the root causes of homelessness and helps define the steps on how to end it. You can get involved in CAG's flagging of a downtown park on May Day, where we will plant flags to represent each homeless person in Portland. Grace Portland Street with us during our restroom orienteering event, where we will use compass and map to navigate between the public restrooms of downtown to show the lack of restrooms available to our community. My opinion has worth. I'm not discounted or devalued here. For the first time, I feel like I'm being taken seriously. One of the dreams that I have is as we get more people involved, we will be able to eventually raise someone up to become an elected official. So if you are someone who is homeless or has been, and you have ideas and a voice and you want it to be heard, then we can be a vehicle that can help get your voice heard. If you're not homeless, you can be our allies. We all need to work together in order to end homelessness. You can inform others and teach people the truth about homelessness, whether it's by writing to our legislators or writing letters to the editor or countless other ways. I'd like to thank you all for joining us today in keeping the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s hopes and dreams alive. I will close with one of his quotes. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. Thank you.
Thank you all and thank you especially the sisters for inviting me to come and speak to you today. I came from the street, and a lot of us that come from the street kind of realized pretty quickly that while all the discussion seemed to be about rehabilitating us, the society that we were being rehabilitated to fit back into seemed pretty dysfunctional. So rap is a manifestation of that frustration. It's a manifestation of a belief system that says when 3.5 million people every year are sleeping out on the streets of the United States, it is not that those people are homeless. I was without housing in San Francisco. My home was San Francisco. Yeah. I was a person that could not afford and was unable to obtain housing. That is very different than to say that I was a human being without a home. I had a family, I had a society, I had a community that I was a part of. And what we needed to do and what we needed to focus on was how do we build strength within that community so that we get the respect, so that we get the attention to our educational needs, to our treatment needs, to our housing needs, and to living wage that we all should be, and damn it, should be entitled to. This is human rights. This is not charity, this is compassion. This is not give me something, I want something from you. This is about what is the role of our government in this society. Do we have a government whose only economic stimulus package is to create more money for larger corporations to move jobs overseas so they can make more money, so they can buy more warehouses and move more jobs overseas? Or is this about a government that really is going to be one day a government for the people, by the people, and that cares about the people? These kind of forums like today's forum and the beauty of it is in fact going on in communities across this country. And if everybody here today calls somebody that you know that lives in another city or in another town, in another place across the country and says, hey, you know what? We are starting a movement. This isn't about Portland. This isn't about the BBI dudes down in Old Town criminalizing the presence of poor people. This is about Skid Row in LA. It's about the Tenderloin in San Francisco. It's about Chicago. It's about New York. It's about Seattle. It's about all of us. And only by all of us coming together will we create our own media, will we create our own voice, our own artwork, our own beauty, and our own treasures. That is what we bring to each other. Thank you all very much.
That was amazing. Thank you for speaking. I want to definitely props to Julio and Lynn and all the good work of CAG, and specifically to Devin who organized this. I'm not sure if everyone knows that. My history with Sisters has been short and powerful, and I'm hoping to have it be a much longer one in the years to come. I had the wonderful opportunity to do a training on classism for the staff, and it was really quite a beautiful experience. I have not had the honor of working with an organization committed at every level of the work and at the level of human interaction to work, and it's been an honor to get to partner with them in their work. And I really do consider the work that I do as a partnership with many organizations, with individuals and communities. In 1994, I started this organization, Luna Jimenez Seminars. I didn't know what else to call it at the time. I just knew that I wanted to eliminate all oppression, and I wanted to assist people to do it in the ways that I knew. And so I was 27 at the time. I lived in Santa Cruz, California. There was nothing in my life to that point that made me think anything was going to come of it, but I couldn't imagine doing anything else in the world. And I haven't regretted a minute of it since. The world that I grew up in was one of an immigrant father from the island of Puerto Rico. He is and was disabled during my childhood and growing up. My mother is a second-generation Mexican-American, born and raised in Detroit, facing tremendous odds to support a family of 5 with very little formal education. And I was born into the household at a time when there wasn't health care, there wasn't employment, there wasn't security, sometimes there wasn't food, but there was always love. There was always love, and even as I didn't understand what was happening to my family in a systematic way that was oppression, that was being targeted because of being immigrant, that was being targeted because we were poor, the family that was being targeted because there was racism, oppression based on skin color and based on how we looked. Even though I didn't understand, I didn't have the words for it, I knew there was injustice. And I don't think there is a young person that comes into this world who isn't clear about injustice. We as young people understand when something isn't right. And if we haven't been injured, if we haven't internalized that somehow this is normal, we always stand up against it. We don't hesitate. We don't wait for the perfect moment. We don't think there might be something better to say at a better moment. We interrupt. I grew up in a family where there was violence. Most of the ways that we internalize the oppression of classism in our communities is there's often addiction and there's often violence that goes along with that. The next generation in my family, my nephews, don't have that same experience. And I remember my dad telling me the story when he took my youngest nephew to the doctor's office. And there was a woman there with her daughter, supposedly, and at one point she got upset with the little girl and she started to hit her. And my youngest nephew, not having had an experience of having been hit or seen another human being being hit, just very calmly got off his chair, walked up to the woman, and in kind of the curiosity that a 6-year-old could ask, just said, "Why are you hitting her?" He was completely baffled. He was completely non-blaming and non-shaming of the mother. And he was an ally to that young girl and the mother in that moment, where he was able to come from a place of connection and love. And it stopped the abuse. I wish I could say that I have as much elegance in those places. I can tell you that in my own experience of having experienced violence, it is very hard for me to stand up against injustice. And I think the places in those moments where I myself have been a target. And I think that one of the beautiful things about this work is that that's the role that allies can play. Those of us who haven't had that very same experience can stand up. When a man stands up against the oppression of sexism, there is nothing more powerful or profound as for a woman to see a man do that, not for her, but on his own behalf, because he himself is dehumanized by witnessing and colluding with that oppression. And at the same time, it is on us, on each of us, in the places where we have been targeted by oppression, to look at the places where we have internalized that very hatred of ourselves that has us believing on some level, in some way, that we deserve this. On some level, in some way, that this is normal or that this is right. It is not right. It is unjust. And until we can take a look at all of the ways that we didn't yet grieve what was done to us as human beings, we will be less effective, unfortunately, in intervening. But we have everything we need because we came into this world with an as yet not fully understood capacity for love. Capacity for love and for human connection. We know how to love. Think about the time that you spent around any newborn. How many of you have had the opportunity to hold a young life in your arms in this room? Yeah. You've raised a few. And I think that's one of the most, a million powerful work of parents and those who raise young ones. Do you ever notice how their body melts into yours? How it's looking for every possible way to make closeness and contact happen with you. They don't hold back. They don't say, gee, you smell, you didn't really take a bath today. Or they don't go, oh, you're a little snuggly there. You know, I don't think I want to touch that. They're wanting every part of themselves to connect up to every part of yours. Think about when we were little, and some of you have seen this with young person, and still, how we just go from arm to arm to set of arms. We don't hold back. There isn't a sense that this person isn't absolutely beautiful, absolutely lovable, and absolutely wanted. It's how we came into the world. It's the inherent capacity for love. And yet, little by little, we start to hold back that love because we didn't get a chance to fully express that love. And almost more than being loved, being prevented from loving kills a part of our spirit. And so what would it take in the face of old injury, in the face of perhaps old feelings of betrayal, or even humiliation, or even oppression, to decide that your love is bigger than any of that? To decide that your capacity for love and the power of you loving another human being really would make the difference to transforming our world. I think young people are our best teachers, certainly have been my own. How many of you have ever been to a big box store like a Costco or something like that? You ever had that experience? You can't go in for a minute, right? It's no less than an hour commitment because 30 minutes you're in the line. Do you remember that when you go there? So you kind of like block out a chunk of time. Well, I had just a couple items I needed to pick up. And I went in with my youngest nephew again. And within a couple minutes of getting in the store, he found another young person, a little boy his age. He's probably like about this young one's age right here, just crawling around up front here in the red jacket. And they like found each other like a pair of magnets, man. And it turned out, you know, you walk the aisles, you know the path, right? Everybody walks it together. So we're walking with this family, this other family with this little boy. And they just playing and laughing and running around and not holding back in any way. And of course, we get into the line together, so that's another 30 minutes they're together. And then all of a sudden, we're done. And I go through the line, and I go, okay, Xander, we need to go. He starts to cry. And I'm thinking, is there a candy bar nearby that I missed, that I didn't give him a chance to get? Where's the toy that he's wanted? I didn't get it. And through his sobs, he manages to get out of his mouth, he's my best friend. And I look at him, somewhat incredulous, as if, how could that have happened? We've only been here an hour. And very slowly, but almost at the same time, suddenly, washed over me that there was a time I loved that easily too. I opened my heart that deeply too. Yeah, go ahead, cheer that on. And yet we as young people were made to feel humiliated for loving that big. Think about every time that you moved, or you changed schools, or your friends left, and you said, oh, you'll get over it, it's not a big deal. Never was that relationship seen as valuable because you were little, basically. It's because of the ways that we are targeted as young people through young people's oppression that we are made to feel less than human that becomes the training ground for all other oppressions. I had to stop myself that moment with this pull to want to dismiss his love of this little boy whose name I know he didn't even know, but was his newest and bestest and deepest love right now. I had to catch myself and hold him in my arms and say, go ahead and cry. Go ahead and let your heart break. Because I knew that where I didn't, he wouldn't love as deeply the next time. And it is true that where we don't. We don't let ourselves love as deeply the next time. So I'd like to issue an interesting challenge to you, each of you. And I'd like you to think about doing this quite personally for you. I'd like everyone who's able to stand to stand. And those who are not able to stand, you'll get a head start on this, I promise. So I'm gonna give the instructions, and I'm gonna count to 3 so that anybody who's in a chair or needs assistance can get to their location first. All right? So I know you've been giving me your great attention, but I actually want you to look around this room. Look who's here. Go ahead, turn your whole body around. Don't hurt your neck. I want you to notice. Some are up, some are down. Wave a help. There you go. There's some people up there. I would like you to find someone in this room you don't know. I'd like to leave you with is this final thought about love. I believe that all of my relationships are revolutionary acts. They are acts of resistance against a system that relies on us being numbed out and detached from each other and from ourselves. Where we care about each other, we would never stand for injustice. We would always do what was right, and we would always do it from a place of love. So I would like to offer you this challenge to go out and to connect deeply with each other, but primarily to connect with yourself, to know that you are a precious and cherished being, and that your love is worthwhile in this world. And I believe together we will transform this society and live to see a world free of oppression. Thank you. Take a look around at your community and the community that we're all building together, and that we're all here in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King, and we're all here because of love and nonviolence. Thank you very much. Play it.